You're listening to the Level Best Network.
This is the INTERCOT Insider Live, episode 145. The INTERCOT Insider Live is brought to you by the folks at Magical Journeys, INTERCOT's official travel agency, and the Disney Vacation Experts. Now more than ever, it's important to support our partner, the good folks at Magical Journeys. Check them out. Book your next vacation through them. They've been our partner for a long, long time. And they're good at what they do, too. So on your next vacation, be sure to use them. Nancy and the folks over there will take care of you. And a welcome into our house. It's the INTERCOT Insider Live. It's been, about 2 months since we've talked to you. Apologies for that. Life sometimes gets in the way, as you may have noticed. But along with me tonight, I've got half the nation of Canada and Carolyn.
Hello.
Hello. And feeling a little under the weather. So
A little bit.
Yeah, wish her some get well there, you know.
Thanks.
Need some cough syrup. Maybe some maple syrup would do that.
Oh, yes.
Oh, there you go. See how we work that in. All right. And Mr. Jason, you know him, you love him.
Hello.
Hello. Good to see you back on the podcast.
Yeah, haven't seen you in a while.
Been a while. Been
it-
around.
It has been a while.
Just got back, actually, from Disney World.
Well, the funny thing is, all three of us are back from vacations of some sort, one sort or another. Carolyn was also in Disney World
Just last weekend, right after Jason's trip. Yeah.
Yep. And I was just on a Royal Caribbean cruise to Nassau and Perfect Day, Coco Cay. that rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that. But we are very happy to have you with us. And we're, again, sorry it's been so long, but glad to be back. Stuff to cover tonight. We've got some interesting things going on, I would suppose, not only in the way of trip reports, but also D23 had been going on, and plus just catching up on all the news over the last 60 days or so. But trip reports are kind of, I think folks are really interested in what's going on in the parks right now, how things are operating. Things seem to be getting back to normal, crowd wise and such.
Yep.
What was your experience, Jason? We'll go to you first. Carolyn, you can feel free to jump in too at any point in time, but you were there.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to contrast as well, because like Carolyn mentioned, we really just missed each other by, I think, about a day.
Yeah.
I was there for the first Run Disney event back. So it was a little hard to tell how much of that was, normal crowds versus just the Run Disney event being there for that long weekend. Because certainly before then the last Run Disney event, which I think most of us were there for in, I guess it was the January 2021.
Yeah.
I don't think they had the February one at that point.
January 2020.
2021. Yes.
Yeah.
That event. So this was the first one back. Kind of the running of it was interesting to me because it was really kind of all just the same as before. Not a lot of changes there, really.
Huh.
Same expo setup as before. Obviously still enforcing the mask policy in any indoor area and on the transportation to get there, but identical setup to at least what the expo looked like in 2020 and kind of late 2019. I still don't know why they make you walk basically all the way to the back furthest corner of the furthest building in the back to get your shirt.
So that you have to pass by all of the vendors.
Yes, that's probably why. Why they have to use the building all the way in the back, I'm not exactly sure, but there were no real vendors on that way. Although I will take that back. That was probably outside of Epcot, and the most people I saw in beer and alcohol lines was at the expo.
Oh, really?
So I thought that was interesting. I don't quite recall that before being as big, but yeah, that was very popular. But now they got rid of corrals; they're now starting groups. But at least
What's the difference?
a name, because at least from
No
my
more
experience
corrals.
doing the 5K, it was pretty much the same experience. I only did the 5K. Didn't do any of the other races that weekend, so I can't really compare and contrast. But it was really pretty much the same. The one major difference was the actual what they would call the waves. I forget what they called them now. They had kind of a different name for them. They were about, I'd say, 30 to 25% the size of prior ones. So they were pretty small groups that actually went with each start. But for the 5K, there were 3 starting groups, and they were all in apparently not corrals, but starting group areas.
So instead of being in corral A, B, C, and D, what do they call them?
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Wow.
But they put an S in front of it also, so I was kind of confused at first. I was like, well, okay, is there going to be like? I didn't immediately connect S was for like starting group, and I thought it was okay. Is there a a T1 and a T2, or is it a letter and a number combination? So they're going to be these much smaller groups. But at least for the 5K, that was not the case. I don't know if anyone else did a different race that weekend that I can add, but out there in internet land. But at least for the 5K, that was a very similar experience. The race course, I actually liked it. It kind of went through some newer backstage areas that I think past races, at least the last several where I had been down there, they had not done. You got to run through the new France expansions. That was kind of neat, running through there.
Cool.
The biggest difference, though, not that I ever participated in them, but there really were not any characters out on the race course. Now I will have to put an asterisk by that, at least for the 5K, because it was raining the entire time. It started raining at about 3 a.m., right as you were boarding transportation to go to the race, and did not stop raining until I'd say about 2 a.m. the following day. So it was a very big rainstorm that moved through. A few breaks here and there, but it wasn't terrible. Actually, the very first Run Disney race I did had a lightning stay for it, and then it was kind of pouring in that one, and they still had it, but it was just an everyone go at once thing. So wasn't the best first experience, but kept coming back for other ones. So I don't know if some of the characters weren't out because of that, or it was just again for social distancing. They had several backdrops out where you could stop and still do like a different photo op. I remember the one was like a cauldron, I think, since this was November 5th, but still Halloween themed with villains for some reason this year. And it was wickedly delicious for instance, was still tied to the Food and Wine Festival, but felt a little bit like they just left out the kind of some of the Halloween stuff for that from the parties. I think Judge Frollo was the only character out that was in the France Pavilion as it was going by. So I know you could not get up there. It was a different photo stop. You had to stop, and they were on one side of the rail and you were on the other. But that was a pretty long line because I was, I think, the only actual character stop for the 5K, which I don't know. I found it a little odd to me. If you're going to go to the trouble to do that and to get the character department out and everything, do like 3, do like 1 per, kind of mile or something, not, one. Like at that point, you might as well have just not done it and just put another backdrop up there or something. But but liked it. Again, kind of amazing the military precision they can run these events with. I will say one very humorous thing, which we did post on our socials. We found the minivans. If you're wondering where those are, they were at the event being used as a barricade, so you could not sneak your way into the race staging area. So the rumors that they, ended the leases or sold them back, not true. There they are. I don't know if they can't find the people to drive them, or what the deal
Well,
is,
that's
but
nice that they have a use for them.
there they are.
It's a wall of vans. There
Yes.
you go. That's very nice.
It's a double fence. I like that too because there isn't a barricade behind that, but I guess someone thought it was too low or easy to get over. So someone said, "Hey, we've got all these minivans. Let's park them in front of it." So they did that with some
eye
buses
candy,
as well,
right?
Yeah,
Sure.
which normally I'd say great. It's a good advertising for the minivans late for you to use later that day or the weekend, but nope, still not. That service is not back yet, but.
That's kind of odd.
Overall, still like doing the race.
Mhm.
Thought it was still neat. Got the cool medal for it this year. Thought they did a pretty good job with the designs for them. It's actually very large. It's actually probably the largest one I've gotten out of the last 4 events. So that was good. Other than the rain, so did the 5K in a true vintage mid 1990s yellow Mickey poncho. Yep. So any of you guys that can actually remember the seas of yellow that would happen in the mid 90s when the
I still
afternoon
have
thunderstorm would
Yep.
pass through, that was my impromptu Run Disney costume. I was a mid 90s afternoon park guest. So
And it
Very
looked
nice.
good, and the medal
Yeah.
actually did look good. So was that actual
Yep.
metal?
yes.
Not so it
Yep.
wasn't plastic. Like I know they used to do like the
Yeah.
5K ones sometimes in
I want to say
plastic stuff.
sometime in 2019 or maybe late 2018 that changed because the very first 5K I did with the Star Wars event, I think that was April of 2019. It was a metal
Right.
for the 5K because for a while there they were like a rubber basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's good. They look nice too.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm a little surprised on the characters, although yeah, the rain may have had something to do with that. It just
you never really know with that. So
don't seem to
it was
go
kind of
together.
hard to say. So again, don't know what they did for the 10K or the half because I did not participate in those. Did not personally know anyone doing those for this event, but overall was still a good experience with that. Stayed at the Animal Kingdom Lodge for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Partially as a happenstance because that was the only thing available at the time when I booked my trip. Everything
really?
booked up kind of in advance of that. But had the Savannah view, so got a lot of very nice views of primarily giraffes in the mornings and also some zebras. I cannot get a picture of it, but had a giraffe kind of almost sleeping outside my balcony the one evening. I need like night vision or something, but so that was all very neat. We'll say transportation though. If you're gonna stay there, either make your peace with taking buses everywhere or use a rideshare service because that is not normally staying in the Crescent Lake area where I can walk to at least 2 out of the 4 parks. That was a very different experience. So. But yeah, still liked it. I think they did a refurbishment of the rooms there in February of 2020, I think it was. So unfortunate timing there. We got a pretty still refreshed room because they had only reopened that resort I think a few months prior. So I definitely did like that remodel. You can kind of start to see a little bit of a pattern because actually I'd stayed at the Yacht Club when I was there in May of 2021. That was my other trip prior to this, and obviously some thematic differences. They're still keeping with that. It's not just the same room over and over again, but you can tell with the flooring, kind of the bathroom
Right.
out there, kind of doing the same basic layout now, probably by a little bit by category, but even some of the other, I think, resorts are starting to do. You can kind of see. I think they must have bought in mass that sort of hard flooring they're putting
luxury vinyl.
that seems to be
LVP.
going in about just about every hotel, and
Pretty much.
the bed structure seems to be about the same.
Yep.
Regardless of what category you're staying in. So that's
And the
seems
white
to be something
the
they're
white
doing.
covers.
The white covers,
LVP. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I
So
noticed
that's been a
some of that
pretty
too.
common trend, but yeah. So On to maybe the meat of the matter a little bit, because it had just started really a few weeks prior to both Carolyn and mine's trips. Genie Plus.
Yeah.
So
So we remember.
new
I was going to say,
thing.
yeah, I know. Well,
Right.
so I've been listening back to the podcast, right, trying to get
Yep.
the audio back online. So I mean, I have the last few fresh in my head right now, and we were talking about Genie Plus over
Right.
the last 3 or 4, and trying to figure out exactly how it's going to work, what it's going to cost, all that kind of stuff. And I think things have become a lot more clear now. It's in use, and
Right.
I am really curious as to what the practicality of it is, and whether
Well, so my expectation going into it
Okay.
was a very positive one. I'll say that because
Okay.
I was thinking it would be a lot like Max Pass that I had used at Disneyland in prior trips.
By the way, hello, Michael.
Yes.
Yeah, by the way,
Hi. Because on face value, the description of it was very similar to that. It
Right.
sounded a lot more. A lot of the rules were a lot more like the old Fast Pass system prior to the tiers and the pick 3. 6 months before you get there, sort of.
Right.
so explain
Burden that was
quickly
made.
what Max Pass is at
Um,
Disneyland.
So Max Pass at Disneyland was effectively just a app version of the old paper Fast Pass.
So instead
Fast
of
Pass ticket
getting
system.
to the park and like running to Space Mountain,
Right.
you can just once
You
you get
stopped
to the
in
park,
town square and picked your first one for the day. So hi Don.
Oh,
So that was kind of what you did, and then you would pick your next one either after you used your first Fast Pass, or I think you had to wait an hour or 2 hours
2
if your
hours or
Fast
something.
Pass wasn't
Yeah.
coming up, and you could do that. You could do a ride as many times as you wanted. If you wanted to, Guardians was kind of the new thing when we were down there. If you just wanted to ride Guardians 17 times in a row, as long as you could find the time slot, you could do that. Had quite a bit of freedom with that. Genie Plus, not so much. So first thing I ran into was it's you can pick each ride once to use the lightning lane. That's regardless of if it's one of the ones included with your was it $15 per person per day, or the individual lightning lane, which I really think they've got to come up with a better name for, like Premier or something, because saying you're buying the individual lightning lane versus the lightning lane was very confusing and
so
kind of hard to say.
there's a difference. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
There's 2 premier rides or attractions in every park that are not included if you buy the Lightning Lane pass, we'll call it.
Okay.
You purchase them individually for a variable amount that you will be informed of at either 7 a.m. or I guess it's 8 a.m. that day, depending on if you're an on-site guest or not.
Okay.
So
first you have to buy your Genie Plus, which is $15 a person.
Well, you're buying the Lightning Lane. You can use Genie Plus without.
Well,
that.
yeah, okay, yeah,
Yes.
Lightning Lane, yeah. So you pay $15 per person, and then that gives you access to make, we'll call them just fast passes, that for most of the rides that have fast pass, okay? But then the super special rides, like I could go to Hollywood Studios and I could get a fast pass or a lightning lane. With this $15, I could ride like Midway Mania. I could ride Alien Saucer Spin.
Squeaky Dog, Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster.
Rock and Roller Coaster, stuff like that. But then, but I also want to ride Rise of the Resistance. So that is going to be an extra charge on top of the $15.
Ah. And that varies per day.
Depending on probably how crowded. Yeah.
Right.
So my first day, Julie, my daughter and I, Julie, we were just in the parks. We got there like late Thursday night. We were going to spend Friday and Saturday in the parks, and then we fly home Sunday. So 2 days.
Right.
So my first day, we're like, we don't need no stinking lightning lane. So we went to Magic Kingdom, and then we park hopped over to Epcot, and it was pretty busy. And we met up with Ian. Ian came around with us for a couple rides. We had, lunch, stuff like that. And then The next day, I'm like, it's really busy, and we were going to Hollywood Studios. So first thing in the morning, I decided to splurge, and I bought the $15 thing. I didn't buy any of the like premier upgradey ones, just the
Right.
$15. So that was first thing in the morning, and we looked at all the choices that were available. I guess because I wasn't online at the crack of dawn when it starts, I'm like, okay, well, we want like Rock and Roller Coaster. So the soonest I could get into that was like around 1 p.m.
Wow.
So then I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't book anymore.
Until after that one was used?
Unless it's like a couple hours either, but
it was it's a 2 hour window after you book that. It would have come up again.
So then we went and we rode our Rock and Roller Coaster. Oh no, actually, no, we didn't ride Rock and Roller Coaster because then right at like 1 o'clock or whatever,
Is it down?
I get this text and it's like, sorry, Rock and Roller Coaster's out of commission. You can pick something else. So I'm like, well, let's go see. Right? So we used it for Midway Mania. So that's fine. So we did Midway Mania. Then we were like, well, we have dining reservations over at Epcot around 3:45 or something.
Mm-hmm.
We better get over to Epcot. So off we go to Epcot, and my app knew that I had like left Hollywood Studios and I was now at Epcot because I had tapped into Epcot, and like at the top of the thing, it's like, welcome to Epcot, whatever.
That's nice. Mine didn't, by the way, just FYI.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my last day I was at Studios and it thought I was still at Magic Kingdom for some reason, so that was interesting.
Well, so now I'm over at Epcot. I'm like, cool, this app knows that I'm at Epcot, so let me like try and make my next.
So it should know logically, Carolyn, right? In the Genie
now I
part,
want
that it would know
lanes
where
at
you
Epcot.
are, right?
That's what you'd think.
You would.
So then I go in. I'm like, okay, well, let's make a new lightning laney thing. And I go in, and all the choices are like over at Hollywood Studios. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not there. It knows I'm here. Well, so then I went and I complained in a text to you guys, and Ian Googled. There's like this. If you got to scroll way to the bottom, and then you can like. There's like one little line of text. It's not like a button or anything. It's just like a little thing. Like you can tell Genie Plus what park you're at now.
Why doesn't Genie Plus know? The rest of the app knows where you are. Yeah, the Genie should know. He's the Genie.
So then by the time that I had figured that out, it was now like 4 something, and we were eating our food. So we got like a fast pass or Genie or whatever, lightning lane, whatever. We got that for, oh gosh, I don't even remember. Soren? Yeah, I think it was Soren. And then we go and, oh, sorry, Soren's down right now. So then it's like, you can pick.
I think you're just breaking the ride somehow.
Apparently your app is controlling everything.
All the rides. So then we were like, well, now what can we ride? So then I think we used it for like Frozen or something. And then it was like, well, parks are closing. So
sorry, time to go home.
I was like, I don't feel like I know
folks. Parks closed
each, but so, like I was like, we probably, I mean, maybe if I was like right on top of it, okay, now it's been 2 hours, whatever. But I don't think that most people are like commandos like that. So I probably used it the way a normal person would.
Right. I had a little bit more positive experience overall with it, but I will say the app was probably the biggest drawback to it. It took me probably the first day to figure out that kind of where you need to go to get to it and like where the home screen is. And like it's the tile version. It's very not intuitive, but kind of once I did it a couple times, I got used to it and got better with it. To answer Don's question, is PhotoPass included with it? No, it is not.
Isn't that an add-on?
Yeah, they are still pushing the memory maker, I think, to do that when you add. If you add in advance the Genie Plus, I think or at least when I added it, they were kind of pushing that as well. But Yeah, so I think you definitely have to pay attention to it, kind of like Carolyn said. So I was pretty
Because
much just on
it
top of it
keeps
the whole
wanting
time.
to like.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Jeannie is suggesting that you go on this,
It's
but it
suggesting
looks
you
Well,
like
go
you
to
have
the
a
character meet.
yeah.
that
But then
I
it's
kind
No,
of
like,
Jeannie.
ignored. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of ignored it too. But the way that comes up before anything on the
Yeah.
screen that you actually booked, it's like,
Right.
what? No, get
What
this out of here. I
what did
don't.
it suggest though?
Like, it would
That's
be
what I
like,
want to know.
"Oh, you should go on Dumbo." And I'd be
It
like,
would
"Yeah, that's great. If I
Yeah.
wanna go on Dumbo, just get this
it
off
would
the screen."
suggest things that in the park you're in, allegedly, with very low wait times is what it
Right.
would generally suggest, seemingly at kind of at random. It didn't seem to like geographically know where you
Or it
were.
was
So it could be like
suggesting
on the
that
other
we
side of the
watch,
park.
like, some YouTube or, like, listen to an audio story. I guess it's like you
What?
can put your headphones on in a
Oh, I
line.
never got that.
Oh, yeah, it was like, "Here, listen to this a
Yeah.
story about
Hmm.
pirates," because
I guess
you're, like, near
I was
pirates
too
or
busy
something.
booking my next lightning lane. So,
It was just there's just
um,
too much on the
yeah.
screen, and I'm like, where do I go? I
So
just
I
wanna
was a
book
little bit
my
in the commando mode. So I went
Stalker.
as soon as I checked the into my first lightning lane. When I would get to the next point, I would actually go pick my next one. So I was picking my next ones as I was in the lane, still in the lightning lane.
Hmm.
I will say that you do need to, because I didn't do this real well the first day, you do need to pick earlier ones. So if you want to maximize the number of rides you can get on with it, probably don't go off of what you intuitively think. Maybe, oh, well, I always, would ride those in the morning, or, those would be a better late in the day one. If you want to, make sure you get on it using the lightning lane or versus the standby. Kind of watch how fast they're going. Like Carolyn said, if you're there at park open and you see one for like 3 p.m., probably don't pick that one. Now there's going to be a little bit of a balancing act, not to make too much homework on your vacation and math and algorithms, but certainly you have to watch when they go away too. The only attraction I did not get on overall, or two, I guess, were one was Peter Pan, Magic Kingdom. That one did go pretty early in the day. I had to not had my dining reservation sit down at the plaza with the dessert party afterwards. I could have done it, but that one did go by dinner time. And as the studio's Slinky Dog went by probably like an hour into the park open.
Wow.
That one went very, very quickly. I'm guessing there it's because the two main attractions everyone wants to do are on the premier level, which are Mickey and Minnie's and Rise of the Resistance. So you probably had everyone who did Lightning Lane who had it that day probably all went for Slinky Dog. So
That makes sense.
but yeah, we got on everything else. I did 0 standby lines for 4 days. I did not park hop. Only thing I did standby were like Tiki Bird Room and things like that, and Country Bears where there wasn't that option. And
So you
yeah,
used it
pretty
pretty
much
religiously
Yeah,
then.
you
Yep,
used it right.
yep.
Julie
And
and I we stood in an hour and a half lineup for the Jungle Cruise standby.
yeah,
90
Hour and a
minutes.
half.
which was now
It
the Jingle Cruise, by the way.
Oh, yeah, Jingle. She
Yep.
wanted to see the Jingle Cruise, plus with all the changes. So
Yep.
we said, okay, well, it says it's 50 minutes. I'm like, that's way longer than I normally would stand in a thing, but
Right.
whatever. We haven't seen the changes and whatever. We got nothing
Right.
else going on. Let's do it. So we stood there, and it ended up being 90 minutes. And I was like, after this ride's over, can we just like go sit down somewhere?
So was that yeah, just
So-
curious, was that during the day when you went?
Yes.
Okay.
So
'Cause
that
yeah, I
that
never
was
wait during the day. I always go at night.
interesting. So I will say I will say with the Lightning Lane, because I think a question in a lot of people's mind was, okay, you're paying money for it now. What do you do? Is it reducing your time? Do you still wait 10 minutes or like a 90-minute ride, or what's that? For me, I would say I pretty much walked right on everything, or at least up to the merge point, where the Lightning Lane and the standby lines merged. So I will say, even during kind of a crowded weekend like that, with the Wine and Dine Run Disney group there, it does seem to at least give you that. So I mean, I even used it on some stuff at Epcot that were probably like a posted 10-minute wait. So I probably saved like 9 minutes there, but that was 9 minutes, so why not? That's 9 minutes to go in a Mickey bar somewhere else. So
Well, that's true.
so yeah. Now the one thing I did find interesting, which Carolyn just touched on, the old adage of there were a lot of guests complaining about what she just experienced, because a lot of people were seeing the 120-minute posted wait time and going, oh, they always post 120 minutes. It's going to be like 30 minutes. No, it was 120 minutes or longer in a lot of cases.
Yeah, because
I'm not sure they're still doing those overstatements as much anymore.
Yeah, I thought they were overinflating the wait times to entice you to buy Genie Plus, or like the Lightning Lane thing.
Right.
So you would think like, oh, like they're just putting up that it's 50 minutes, but it's because they want to scare people into buying a fast pass. So no, it ended up being they were underestimating.
Yeah, there were a couple schools that I guess had like their fall break the first 2 weeks of November, which I still don't really understand why you would have that in November and then be off for Thanksgiving in like a week and a half. But apparently that was happening. It was I heard some people saying it was Virginia, kind of the first part of the week I was there, and then Illinois the second week.
I think it depends on if they have a year-round school, because schools
that could be true too. Yeah,
I guess that makes sense.
But yeah, a couple of people were mentioning it was pushed back later, again, just to some of the different social distancing and maybe class rotation policies that were happening. But yes, there definitely were some bigger groups and crowds there, I think, for that, mixed in with during my trip Run Disney as well. So I did feel it was pretty busy. But like I said, I used the Lightning Lane, was pretty happy I didn't have to do any standby, because I was still not totally thrilled with the idea, even with a mask on, of being just shoved into crowds of people and throngs of people. So definitely was able to still keep my distance that way. They were running all of the rooms in queues now. So Stretching Room was running on the Haunted Mansion.
Yep.
Tower Terror Library.
They've been doing that. Like they did that even in August while I was there.
Okay. They were not in May when I was there. So that changed sometime between May and August.
Jason,
it was interesting how certain ones were filling them to capacity and others were not. Like I'll say Haunted Mansion, they pretty much filled to capacity. Tower of Terror, they were running both libraries, but only one drop shaft due to maintenance. But they filled each library only about half full. So it seemed like some ride operation teams were still trying to keep some space in those sort of queue.
Yeah, you're assuming is that, or they didn't have enough people to operate both sides?
Or no, it was maintenance, because people had pictures of them pulling the motor out and replacing it.
Oh, well, there you go.
Prior,
so on the Run Disney thing, was
Yes.
what was the capacity like? Like, were they at? I mean, was it back to everything you had experienced before in a 5K?
I would say
it lighter,
yes.
Or
It was a little hard to tell. Again, just doing the one race. I want to say for the 10K in January, there were maybe like 8 corrals, something like that. I don't know by comparison, because I didn't do the 5K that weekend, like what there was for the 5K, but there were only 3 starting groups. They seemed to be about the same size as the corrals were. I mean, it seemed pretty similar, maybe down a little bit. Maybe they had, truncated it to maybe like 80% of what they had sold previously. But I remember being very worried they were going to really restrict capacity on it. It would go very fast. But I think for like the 5K, it was still open for at least the first couple of days it had opened. It did not go that quickly.
Not the day of. Yeah, typically the 5K sells out within hours of it being put online. So,
I think there were still some questions or apprehensions on how they would, orchestrate this and everything. But no, I mean, really, my Run Disney experience, like I said, other than the course being a little different, was really not all that different. They were not requiring masks in the corrals, although myself and a lot of other people were doing that just because they weren't really socially spacing people either in them. They were just kind of throwing you in there, but yeah, it wasn't really too different other than that.
No, that's good to know. I mean, it sounds like things are at least
Did
a
you
little
still
bit
get
more
the
back
box
to
of treats at the end?
Yes.
Was
Yep.
it a good box of treats this year?
I'm trying to think. It was the nacho chips were back in it.
And the liquid cheese?
With the liquid, well, asterisk or quotes cheese, I guess.
Edible oil.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else was in it.
Did you
I
get
only
a
remember
banana?
the nacho things because there was no hummus with pita chips or whatever again that got
yeah.
such a reaction the one year. But you got the banana with it and the Powerade or
Yeah.
water. So they were passing those out at the end. So yeah, that was pretty much the same.
So
There were only like 3 things in the box. It was like a
well,
bag of something else. I really don't
Raisins.
less sponsors, maybe. I don't know. Justin chimed in, by the way, who must be viewing instead of participating. He's busy. And he mentioned that there said for the 10K, there were about 3,200 people less.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's significant enough. I mean,
Yep.
it's still not quite there. And then, by the way, I just to get this out of the way, Dawn asked a question about my shirt and hat combo here, by the way. So we talked about this. It's funny, on the last podcast, Ian mentioned that this was his go-to shirt when he would travel for years. This is the what we called the Tron INTERCOT shirt.
Go full screen. I want to see.
Okay. Hold on. Stand by. Okay. So, all right, there you go. So it's a like a half zip, I guess they call it. It's
Is
really
it
not
like
a
that
full
shiny, dry
fit.
fit?
It's dry fit, but it's kind of stretchy material. I know this isn't helping the folks who are listening, but so, and this is the matching hat, by the way, too.
So it's black with a lot, for those listening, it's black with
Yes.
like a lot of outlines around it that makes
Right.
you look like you're wearing a Tron suit.
Right. So I always we conveniently just called it the INTERCOT Tron outfit. It just because it's glow. It's a really bright sort of neon-y blue almost. Anyway, the whole reason why I wore it tonight was because of our last podcast. Ian mentioned that it was his favorite and that we had never really offered this to people back when I did this, and this is about 4 or 5 years ago at least. So I looked, and they're still available today. So Dawn, you're asking? Yes, I will make this available to the general public. So
Nice.
same thing with as long as the hat's available, I think I will do that as well. So, and it's available, I think, in red, blue, and gray as well. So anyway, just getting that out of the way.
Nice.
As it were. It's a callback to our previous episode. Carolyn, you were there too. So, I mean, what was your experience while you were?
Well, that was the only downside. It was quite a contrast from when I was there in August, and it was like dead as doornails. You could walk on to Space Mountain, and so it was quite a lot busier. But it was nice that like they were doing more character things. I liked the 50th sculptures that you would see all around. They're a lot bigger than I thought they were. Like you always see pictures on the internet of those golden 50th statues, and I thought they were like the little ones that you would see like around the castle, you know? No, these things are like
they're pretty
a couple
big.
feet tall. Like they're pretty big. So they were neat. They were just kind of randomly around the parks, and you could find them. Because it's the 50th, they don't have the icicle lights up on the castle this year. Instead, they
really?
Oh, that's right.
No, but it's okay.
I just realized that.
But it's okay.
It's okay. They
okay.
They have projection on the castle that's just like still. So they had it like looking like there was like ribbon wrapped around the spires or what the pointy peaks of the towers of the castle, and then it would look like gingerbread or whatever, and it would like it would look like it would in the cast, like the fireworks castle projection show, but it would just be like on
Yeah.
there. So
Okay.
it looked good.
So things look good. So when you were there, did they have the holiday stuff up or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was, and
They had
Christmas
made the
carols playing
transition.
everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
full Christmas now at all
They
the
had-
parks.
Yeah, they had almost had everything up by the time I had left. My second to last day there was the first after hours party, which replaced Mickey's Very Merry Christmas. But
Hmm.
And
I
what
did
was
not
your
go.
experience with crowds as well? How did you feel the parks were when you were there?
It was busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know who he was asking.
Busy. Yep. Well, no, both of you. I mean, I guess. I mean, either.
It was definitely busy. It was a little weird to try to gauge from May, because in May, they were still, pretty strictly spacing everyone out in the queues, 3 feet apart. So you'd have these queues that wrapped, forever outside the attraction, but they would move. So I definitely felt it was more crowded than then. It was a little bit of a different mix too. I'd say it was actually a lot older families in May. A lot of like high school graduations, I think.
Mhm.
So a lot more families with kind of older teens, and this was a lot younger, a lot more strollers and things like
Mhm.
that. This time of the year, so it was kind of hard to gauge with that, but yeah, the restaurants are definitely back up to full capacity. I'll say that.
Well, that's good.
But the resorts, I still don't believe are. I think those are still held back pretty far, because I think there's at least still one or two that aren't open yet. I think one of the All Stars at least is not.
I thought, but we had mentioned
Open
something
again.
about before the end of the year that all of them were to be back.
Yeah, that
online.
may be the case, but yeah, I'm not sure they're opening them near the capacity they were operating at previously. Again, just because, like I said, for every hotel being sold out, I've been down there that time before, also consequently during a Run Disney event,
Mhm.
and I do not feel the crowds were that level. So
No, I
think
would say it
there's
was
some
it was
capacity
busy but manageable. Like you
Yeah,
could find
exactly.
something to do. It wasn't like holidays. Ian said the day I met Carolyn at Magic Kingdom, it was really busy. Only All Star Sports is still closed for the rest.
Okay.
The rest are
I
open.
think we've put Michael to sleep.
So,
No, I'm just reading what I have to
He's
talk
West
about.
Coast. He's West
Well,
Coast. West
we can
Side.
touch on a few new things there at Walt Disney World that opened fairly recently. So I was able to do the new Club Cool at Epcot.
Oh yeah.
So that has opened up. They are running that pretty strictly right now. It is one party to a station. So at least that was kind of potentially makes a wait for it, but at least you didn't have the problem of like 18 people descending on you while you were like on the station.
There was
So
a big switchback line to get in
Yep.
there. I didn't go in.
So I timed it right. I don't know if like mid-morning is apparently the time to go, but did not have any issue. Just walked right up. There was an open station. They led me to it, and I got to just kind of in peace try each flavor without having 18 people crowd you for it. So I actually thought that was kind of nice. But
And your favorite was?
it was probably the one from the Dominican Republic.
Which is
I think it was like
I'm looking
Club
the
something.
Country Club or something.
Yeah, Country Club. There you go. That one. Yep. I thought
What
that
is?
one was.
And that's
was
a
good.
what? What's the flavor?
It's like a tropical fruit one.
Okay.
That one and the one
Third
from
from the left.
Madagascar. Yeah, that one and the one from Madagascar were both pretty similar. They were kind of the tropical fruit flavors that I did like. I did not like I think the one is like a sour plum. Did not much care for that one. Wouldn't put it quite to the Beverly levels of bitterness, but it was up there. But yeah, those are all a lot of new flavors.
No mezzo mix.
Still no mezzo mix. Yep, still got to go to Germany to get mezzo mix, but not the pavilion, the country,
The actual country.
the actual country.
Okay.
But although I will say, in Germany now, the Carmela Kuchen Caramel Kitchen is now on mobile order, so that was nice.
Oh,
Just ordered some popcorn, walked up, got it, then walked around World
Wow.
Showcase.
I will tell
eating
you
my caramel popcorn.
the best mobile thing that I discovered on this trip. When you
What's
go
that?
into stores, if you want to buy something, you don't have to go to the checkout.
What?
They're testing a thing where you can check
Ooh.
yourself out, and it worked. We did it many times.
Oh, wow.
So
I missed
you
that.
you
So-
yeah, there would be like we went into Creations, which used to be Mouse Gear,
Mhm.
and we did it there. I think we did it at
So are
Which
you
is what
scanning
Club
your?
Cool is next to,
Orient-
by the way.
yes, and
Well, that
I
doesn't make
did
any
it at
sense,
like
but
the candy shop.
like in my head, like not.
I
having
know it's
been
on the
there.
wrong side. I know.
It was a
Club
fast
Cool is
pass
kind of-
alcove previously.
Yeah, it was in the breezeway.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
So
all right.
if you exited Mouse Gear out into that covered breezeway between the center of Epcot going out towards like Mission
Right.
Space,
Mhm.
it was like a covered. There'd be guys that had those giant bouncing balls and they would bounce them. It was like a little covered area. There was a cubby over at the side that used to have just fast
Good way to
pass
describe it.
computers,
Okay.
Yeah.
and they've closed that in, and that's where Club Cool is.
All right.
So anyway, at the stores, they will have like a poster in a frame with a QR code, and you just hold your phone up and it brings you to a screen, and it's like start scanning your items. So you just like scan your
Really?
items, and then it's like, hey, is that everything? And then you check out. It goes on your credit card that's already saved in your My Disney experience. And then when you go to leave the store, there's like a lady at a little table, and she'll have a bag, so you can like bag your stuff. And she just checks your phone and like says like, hey, what's your name? And I say Carolyn, and she
Okay.
looked on her sheet, and like on her iPad it says like Carolyn bought this, this, and this, and she
Okay.
checks that that's what you're holding, and she shoves it in a bag, and you walk out.
So
Like-
this is sort of like Walmart Plus that
Yes.
I have. Like you can, like every once in a while, if I notice that the lines are super long as I come in, then I just start scanning my crap as I'm walking through the store. And then I walk to the register, I go bloop, and it goes, okay, ready to pay, done. And I walk out and I feel like everyone's looking at me like I just stole a whole cart full of groceries.
Right.
But like even the employees don't know about it, which is the
Wow.
scary part.
It is
sometimes.
Walmart.
Yeah.
There is
Exactly. Well, I mean, Michael, I mean, it is true, but on the weekends, like things get crazy here on the island because, you've got folks that are coming in to do their week-long rentals. And if you end up on the wrong day on a Saturday in Walmart, it gets a little nutty. But anyway, yeah, so you can go. It's great. But
It was super easy and quick, and obviously people
Nice.
didn't know about it because the lineups for the checkout was huge.
Yeah.
If I ended up in a Walmart on a Saturday, I would have been abducted, and someone would have had to pay a ransom.
Something is
Just
wrong if
saying.
Michael is there. We'll know.
Well, Michael, you know
Good
what?
to know.
It's my own stupidity. I should know after being here almost 5 years, never to go to Walmart on a Saturday. It just is stupid, But
It
point
looked
well
like
taken. Touche.
Justin was here, and then Justin disappeared for anyone
No,
watching.
wait, hold on here. I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, I'll try and put him
I'm
back
not
in.
sure what's going on.
Are you there, Justin?
It was just a cameo.
Can you hear us,
Hello.
Justin?
No.
Just
No.
staring
No.
at us.
No,
Am I there?
I'm entranced by your
his connection
your
mustn't be very good.
connection
Oh.
is all wonky.
Yeah.
They've had that mobile pay for.
Yeah, it sounds
a
like you
while
guys
at
are
Disney.
underwater. I'll be back.
Oh, there you are. Oh, now he's gone. All right. Okay,
He'll be back.
All right.
Okay.
They have the mobile order at all of the stores at Disneyland, and it was awesome.
Like you check yourself out.
Oh,
yeah,
that
you
is
can
nice.
do it. When Quentin and I remember when Quentin and I did our COVID trip, like in February, like randomly for my birthday this last year, we were like, oh, a day, flew down to Disneyland and shopped and ate and left. That was they'd premiered it that week, and it was awesome.
Oh,
Like I used it this time. It's just, and it even like gives you your discounts as well.
Yeah, I was like,
Love
I don't
that.
know if it, but because it takes you into the app, which I'm already logged in the app. It knows I'm an annual pass holder. It automatically deducted all of my
Which is great.
discounts.
I just
Yeah.
I just wonder how all this stuff works, like that they don't have huge amounts of, as they call it, shrinkage or people stealing stuff, because once everyone knows that you
Well,
actually can do this, how
I
do you
couldn't
prevent?
leave because there was
Oh,
people
okay.
at
So they
the
bagged
door.
it for you.
So
they-
when I'm walking out with a couple
Okay.
shirts, I had to hold up my phone
okay.
and it had like a thing on it that the lady had to check.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a kiosk that's like mobile checkout, and you have to
Okay.
go and show your phone, and
Oh.
you don't get a. Did they have the bags out in the store? I don't think they did. Right? You had to.
No,
get the bag.
the lady bagged it once she checked that I had
Okay. I got you. And so they just do a quick once over, like,
And they're also
okay,
clear
good to go.
bags. They're clear bags. They're not the.
Oh, they were
normal.
just the normal bags at our
At Disneyland, they were clear. They were like
Mhm.
those
Okay.
crazy. You will not. You dare not steal because we can see everything in your
Let me
bag.
see everything in your bag.
Yeah. So let me just tell you what happened this last time I was at Disneyland.
Please
So
do.
I was just there last weekend for
Okay.
a random 2-day trip, and it was really fun. They ran out of bags in the entire park. And now this is not even.
This is like Home
Like
Depot.
shopping
Can't
bags?
seem to
Yeah,
keep
they ran out of
bags in
shopping
stock.
bags. So they were like, "Oh, well, you can buy this enormous reusable bag," and I was like,
They should just be
It's a
giving
sticker.
that for free
It's a
because it's
sticker.
their fault. They
I
ran
was like,
out.
"How is Disney, which is like a Fortune 20 company whose major moneymaker is retail, run out of bags? Like that's." Did somebody forget to order bags? Like somebody should talk to Bob Chapek because something's wrong.
I
They're
blame it on the
probably
global
stuck on
supply
a
chain.
freighter
So
in
this is like,
the
oh,
Pacific.
this is
Exactly,
the other
Jason.
thing. Oh, well, due
Exactly.
to COVID, there's supply and demand issues, and I was just like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
if I
made
hear
in
that
China.
again, I can't take it. Like everything, like the excuse of Disney parks now is because of COVID.
Yeah.
We
I saw your comment, Michael. It's like that is no longer a valid excuse.
no,
I
it's
will
not. It's
I
not.
will not take it anymore.
It has now been 2 years. We can no
Amen.
longer say because of COVID anymore. Like
Amen.
No.
Amen.
Yeah.
I'm with you 1,000%.
So this is funny.
Stop
so I
it.
went on Sunday. I was like, you know what I want? I want soft serve. And I said, you know what? Cozy Cone has really good soft serve. You know, the place
Right.
in Cars Land that looks
Right.
So I walked up to the Cozy Cone lane. I was like, hey, so I have a mobile order. Followed the rules because you can't order anything without a mobile order. And walked up and she's like going to put it in a cup, and I was like, I don't want a cup. I want a cone. She's like, oh well, I have to put it in the cone, and then I'll stick a cup on top. I'll stick the cone on top. And I was
What?
like, that's not an ice cream
What,
cone.
because of
Upside
COVID?
down ice
What are you
cream?
talking? And this is what she says. Well, due to COVID and sanitary reasons, we can't hand it to you. And I was like, you're wearing a glove and a mask. Like,
Oh my God.
okay. I was like, you know what?
But you're still gonna touch
Right. I was
the
like, you
cone
literally
to
touched
put it on
everything.
top.
You've literally touched everything
Right.
behind this window.
Exactly,
So,
Carolyn.
The damage has already been done. You've touched everything. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to argue with you because you are merely a $15 an hour cashier.
Oh,
I
here
was
we
like,
go.
It's fine. I was like, you know what? Just hand me that. Hand me it. I'll take it, and I'm going to do it myself. And of course, I didn't try because I knew what would happen. It was just like a nightmare waiting to happen. So then I just realized that the entire time we were there, this is like the whole Remember the conversation years ago when we talked about the gatekeepers? So Disney has reinforced the gatekeeper technology where there's just somebody standing out front that's like, where are you going? No, you can't go in here.
You shall not pass.
Right, exactly. We tried to go into the Carthay Circle for an afternoon cocktail because it was 92 degrees in California, and for someone who now lives in Seattle for 11 years, that's so hot I almost died. Like it was so hot.
It's warm. Yeah.
So we went to go like, you know what? 2:00 in the afternoon, ain't no one gonna be in the bar. Let's go have a drink. So we walk up and immediately get stopped by the gatekeepers.
Here we go.
And I'm like, hi, we just want to grab a drink. And she's like, do you have a reservation? I was like, for a drink? Why, no, I don't. I don't want to sit down at a table. I just want to get a drink in the bar and have a drink.
Right.
She's like, oh, well, if you come back in 2 hours, we can put you on a waiting list.
Oh my gosh. And of
I
course,
was
nobody's sitting there, right?
And no.
Do they take reservations in the lounge?
All empty tables.
Oh,
And so I was like, so this is the bar, right? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I do not see a single person in there. She's like, man, we have reservations. And I was like, oh my God.
Well, they set the bar very high.
Right. She's like, well, so she was like, if you want to get a to-go drink, there's a bar over on the wharf. And I was like, I will kill you.
I mean, is it the whole idea of a bar is to sit and relax in the air conditioning?
You know what? I am not going to argue with you because you're a $15 cast member with a clipboard. We're totally fine. Like, you know what?
We're fine.
God bless you and God bless Disney. I'm done. So I was like, okay. So my friend and I walked away, and my friend that I was with is not a huge Disney goer.
Right.
But he was like, you know what? This is very hurtful. I was like, that's a good way to put it. He was like,
I am hurt to the core.
Everything we're doing, like everything we're trying to do, they just say no and they blame it on COVID. Like there's no, we can't. There's no more magic. We can't do anything. We can't go in and get a drink. We can't sit down anywhere. It's now just done. And I was like, well, evidently due to COVID.
Okay,
we're no longer.
I'll match that with what happened to us.
Here we go.
We went to Pecos Bill and we mobile ordered because we're good people. So we mobile ordered our food, and I happened to notice because when we were there in August, it was like you couldn't find any restaurant, any quick service restaurant with like a cashier because my kids were going around. They don't have credit cards, so they needed like an actual person so they could pay cash for their lunch. So anyways, as I'm standing,
that's silly.
Yeah,
Yep.
Now they have like one.
Will be they do at Disneyland too. There's one person.
So whatever, I'm like, that's fine. I have a credit card. I will buy on the mobile. So then I ordered it. We were in front of Splash Mountain walking towards Pecos Bill, and I always hit the I'm here, please start making my food like before I even get there.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, we were walking kind of over that little bridge past Splash Mountain, whatever. I'm here, please make my food. And then I told Julie, go find us a table and I will wait for the tray of food. So then I'm standing there. There was like nobody in Pecosville at all. I probably stood there for like 20 minutes and it was just the two of us. We did not order anything difficult.
You see, you're Canadian.
Right.
New Yorkers within 5 minutes. Where's my food?
So
where is it now?
I went up. So finally it's like, ding, you can go get your order at checkout number 3 or whatever. So I go up. I even remembered. This is what we ordered. My number was called. I had like a bacon cheeseburger, and instead of French fries there, it comes with chips and like nachos and cheese. Right. And then a Coke. That was my food. And then Julie had like a kid's meal, which was like a uncrustable peanut butter and jam. You get 2 little sides and a chocolate milk. So that's all we ordered. We didn't order anything crazy. So I go up there and the lady brings out no drinks, and she brings out like my burger, a little container of cheese, and then Julie's peanut butter jam sandwich, and a whole she put on like 4 little tangerines and 4 bags of cut up sliced apples. Ooh. And I'm like,
okay,
maybe this is somebody else's meal.
We're like, was this the Halloween party? What is going on?
No, this was just I'm like, what is this? So I'm like, no, like I didn't order all of these extra sides for Julie's kids meal, and she's showing me the receipt, and it's like she's saying that it's saying stuff that it does not say on there, and I'm like, okay, but
she totally tried to Jedi mind trick you.
I'm like, I also need a Coke and a chocolate milk. So she just brings those over. Now I go back to my seat and I sit down and I'm like, okay, well, we've got all these extra oranges and apples now, but she insisted I take them.
And it worked because.
And then I'm like, wait a minute, I have like my burger, I have cheese sauce, but where are the nachos? So I take the cheese sauce, I go back up to the counter,
boy. You want
to a new guy, and I'm like, hi, and I had the receipt, and I'm like, hi, I ordered this burger with nachos and cheese. I only got the cheese. I didn't get the chips. And he's like, because you didn't pay for the chips.
Complete
and I'm like,
meltdown.
It says, why would I just order a bowl of cheese?
Because
and
you're Canadian.
I'm like,
Why do I feel like
showing
we've
him the
had this
receipt.
conversation
I'm like,
before?
It comes. No,
Only
Ian
in
had
reverse.
the opposite.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
reversed.
okay. Sorry. I'm like, this sounds very
Ian
familiar.
got chips and no cheese. I got the cheese and no
Cheese
chips.
and no
so I
chips.
had to like convince the man that I had not. No, I
man.
did not just buy a bowl of cheese. It says here that it comes with
Gosh.
chips and cheese. Please.
Oh,
Anyways,
wow.
I got my
Yeah.
dad. So it was just, and then my daughter was all upset because they don't serve the Nesquik chocolate milk, which is always like a big thrill going to the States because you can buy Nesquik in the little single serve bottle, and we don't have that in Canada. Well, they don't do that at Disney World anymore.
Not get it in a bag. That's all I want.
No, but
Oh,
actually, so
story.
you get like a little carton now. I know some places used to have the little milk cartons at Disney that had like a Mickey on them. This is like some other farm thing, but then somebody messaged INTERCOT on the Instagrams and said that no, actually it's really good that they switched because the farm that they switched to is like a good company, and
Okay.
so it's nice, but it's probably cheaper than using Nesquik, and I know that they are like trying to skimp on portions to save a penny here and there. So anyway,
Well, I heard that they took away
Probably
Mickey
due to
Waffles in Disneyland Paris.
what about waffles at Disneyland Paris?
The Mickey Waffles, they took them off the menu at Disneyland Paris.
You have regular waffles now?
I don't even think they have
Not
waffles anymore. It's
We can't afford to
something
shape
else.
them in the head of Mickey. You get regular waffles and you'll like it.
Like anyone cooked those waffles?
They were just frozen
Like
Eggos.
they were in a bag and thrown in an oven.
the
Like,
toaster.
they're not. Yeah, those
Right.
toaster waffles. For sure.
But yeah, I don't know, Carolyn. It seems like your app had problems. Did you forget to switch it from Canadian to US?
Exactly.
I don't know.
It
It
was
was
an
just-
incompatibility.
I'm gonna
Luckily,
be
like,
honest. Like anytime you complain about technology, I'm just like, this sounds like a Canadian.
it
I
probably
used
is.
now I will say I did have one experience with the mobile app kind of similar to yours where they lost my order, but I did it pretty much the whole trip where I could, and didn't work out too bad. It was at Backlot Express. They couldn't find it. They're like, oh well, we know it's here, we see it, we have the receipt, but they're not putting it up. I'm like, that tray there is exactly what my order was. And like, no, that's a different one. And it's like it's still sitting there. It's still sitting there. It's still sitting there.
Can I
Well,
like,
I don't
I-
want that tray anymore.
Yeah, I get you have a system, but you for some reason can't find mine. It was
I
the
can
one.
find it.
The kicker was it was the one behind it.
Oh.
And someone put the like tag or whatever had the number on it like underneath something instead of
Yeah.
like sticking out, so they couldn't see it. But like if it's not there and you see one without a tag, wouldn't you look at that one? So anyways, but I got my
Yeah,
food
I've
there
just
and that
gotten
was
to the point in my life where I'm like an old lady and I can't figure out these gosh darn things. I don't know.
These confounded things, I can't figure them out.
So let me tell you the last bit of technology thing I'm going to complain about because I'm going to try to be more positive because I love Disney, period. Anyway, so when Quentin and I went for our little trip and we were going to upgrade to the Magic Key because I know I'm going back like 3 times this year. And even though I said I wasn't going to, I was like, you know what? Why pretend? I'm just going to do it. I'm stupid. So I get there, and the first day I'm like, let's Magic Key this sucker up because I want the 20% discount. You can't do it.
Can't do it.
You can't upgrade it on your first day if you have tickets, because if you do, now this is straight up from guest services. As I look there, quizzical, like she's speaking some sort of dog language. She's like, no, you can't. You can't buy it the first day because if you do, it's going to transform your ticket to a Magic Key, and then it's going to cancel all your park reservations.
Oh.
And
That
I
would
just
not
said,
be good.
I looked at her and I said, you realize that is the most stupid thing that anyone has ever said at Disneyland. Like seriously.
Powered by HP.
This is absolutely. So you're telling me that I want to give Disney $1,200
More money.
dollars,
Yeah.
Right.
And you're going to tell me that I have to wait 4 days until the last day of my ticket.
So
and
it doesn't
also
cancel everything.
not get any of my
Like,
discounts.
they couldn't rebook it for you. Like, I get that that's a
No,
glitch
it was
in the
absolutely
system,
not. We can't do anything here with tickets.
Wow.
I
If you're
thought
gonna
you
buy
couldn't
Magic
upgrade a
Key-
ticket on the last day because it was like done.
No,
You can't.
As long as you can do
Yeah.
it before it is over, the ticket
Right.
expires.
Before the park closes.
So I was
Oh,
like, so you're telling me I'm going to lose 4 days of
Your discount.
purchases
Wow.
at 20% discounts because you're going to make me. She was like, well, unless you buy everything on the last day. I said, or I could just keep everything and return it. These are my options. And I said, well, you know what? This is my first day and I haven't bought anything. And I'm just going to let you know that I'm not buying a damn thing on this trip. And I didn't.
Oh,
I was like, you know what? Two can play at this game. I'm not spending my money.
I will say I will not be sad to see the reservation system go away.
No, it's
I don't
don't
think it's
know.
ever going away.
I made mine far out enough that I didn't have to worry about it. But I know that anyone with an annual pass can't go until like mid-January now at Disneyland. You can't go weekends. You can't go. There's no, and the top tier annual pass is quote unquote sold out.
So do you think it's going to go away? I mean,
I know
Justin
Dave kind of made a comment saying it's going to be here for a while, but it was just, I mean, like the main issue was like on my most recent trip, like I knew it was going to pretty much pour all day Friday. Well, before I could have just gone to a different park. I may have had to change some things around, but Epcot, I wanted to do the Food and Wine Festival, but I kind of just had to skip the whole thing because of the rain. I wasn't going to walk out to the kiosk when it was pouring.
Right.
Yeah, so that was kind of a little bit of a downer with that, but I mean, I don't mind doing it. I'm planning certain, dining reservations and other things and if I do a show package or something, I'm planning those out in advance. So you're kind of always locked into a park anyways, to some extent.
If you do that much planning, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah, you had the option of not doing it that way.
But I don't see, for someone like me, I don't do that kind of planning. Right. I don't think about where I'm going to eat before I go. I just in some cases I didn't even choose a park. I would wake up and go, where do you want to go?
Travel for people for a living. The last thing I want to do on vacation is plan travel.
Right.
I'm okay with like making a dinner reservation at a nice restaurant because then I know that like a dinner, like I know if I want to California Grill, like
right.
But
I'm
that's
not barbaric. I don't expect to walk up. You know what I mean? I also think that it shouldn't be so hard because like dinner's like $250 for two people. Like that's not that's a lot of money, right?
Right.
So whatever. But I just think that they have definitely taken a lot of the joy out of going.
What I hate is because we often do long trips, like 2 weeks and stuff. And I have teenagers and it's like, well, I could say right now that I'm going to want to go to a park that day, but maybe I need to have a day off. So then I have to, because, we've gone to the parks 3 days in a row. Maybe I don't know what mood I'm going to be in. And also I have teenagers that are going to go off and do their own thing. And so now I have to be like, well, what park are you wanting to go to 6 months from now? As opposed to like teenagers might sleep in that day. And then they're like, I don't feel like going today. And so there's none of that.
Well,
I've also been a notoriously over planner. So, but I even still do hate this. I mean, for trips, I've actually had like itineraries written out for like, not every hour, but we're going here, we're planning to do fast passes for this at this time. And kind of, I have in the past maybe done a little over planning, but now this is forcing you to over plan. Yeah. And it's like, there's no flexibility.
Right.
No joke. I've had days where I've walked into the Magic Kingdom. I've walked to the end of Main Street. I walked a little bit around and I have walked out because I'm like, I don't want to be here today because of the crowds. Like I sensed how packed the park was. And then I went over to Epcot or did a different park.
Well, that's the joy of Disneyland, right? Because you can like walk in 5 minutes and be at the other park.
Right.
But with this new reservation system, you have to like sit on Main Street for 3.5 hours
until what? After 2 o'clock or
1 o'clock at Disneyland.
What is it? Yeah. Okay.
It's 2 in Florida.
Yeah, I thought it was 2 o'clock. So
I don't think we've park hopped since this new park reservation system has been in.
Nope,
I don't think I
not
have with my annual pass.
I did.
Okay.
I have.
We were there in July, and like you were saying, with parks being crowded, we went to Hollywood Studios. We didn't get the 7 a.m. Rise of Resistance virtual queue, so we went. We did like I think we walked in at about 11. We did Star Tours. We did Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railroad. We ate, and Dawn goes, "Can we leave?" I go, "Okay," because we didn't get the 1 o'clock virtual queue for Rise of Resistance either.
Right.
So it's like, okay. I mean, I was just the advantage of having an annual pass. It was just that crowded. We went back to the resort and just went to the pool. And, I mean, it's overcrowded. I mean, I know they're still saying they're at what, 35%? They're not at 35%.
No.
There's no way they're at 35%. Maybe 135%.
They are at 185%.
Yeah. So, I mean,
because of
I don't think
COVID.
there's any restriction.
Right. And just back to when, before I came on and just with the Run Disney thing, how, you were saying with the different numbers, basically for each race, there was approximately 3,000 to 3,500 people less for each race. That's based on finishers. Obviously, they don't release how many bibs they sell and everything. But based on the finishers, there's about 3,500 less for each race, give or take.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I mean, I wasn't there either. But I'm sorry, just to go backwards. But the characters, the reason they weren't out was the weather. The 5K was bad. The 10K, it was raining and really windy and cold, and people were miserable that day. And the characters were not really out either that day. They were for the half because the half was a nice day.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I will say at least the 5K was a bit warmer. That the first batch of rain did make the temperature drop quite a bit.
Right, yeah. Or the 10K morning, people, I was watching Instagram and Facebook, and people were freezing. So
I think the high was like 58 that day.
Actually,
Central Florida.
Okay, the Run Disney hour is over. We can't go back. About Run Disney. We spent the first hour done.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey,
well, I will say Michael mentioned California Grill, so we'll just interject. I did eat at Steakhouse 71.
Oh, how was that?
It was good. So I had the filet with the gratin potatoes and one of the Pinot Noirs they recommend out of the Disney family. So it was good. Got a couple comments on why the filet was so small. I'm like, it's a 6-ounce filet. Right. How do you make
6 ounces is 6 ounces
larger? But
yeah.
But yeah, it was good. It's still very much the wave. They didn't really change the layout too much. As you walk in,
55. You eat at Disneyland, right?
Yes. So they don't have like the celebrity pictures. They didn't try to like mock up that, but they do have. As you walk in, there's a lot of historical photos and pictures, kind of relating to the Florida project itself.
Okay.
As you walk in, but then when you get into the actual restaurant, there was a little bit of that, but it was very much more subdued. It was more the I'd say the new lobby motif they have, which is kind of like the mid-century modern pseudo-abstract kind of
that
art.
Weird like Palm Springs feel.
Kind of, yeah.
Maybe they're in somebody's living room.
Is there still blue neon lights everywhere?
No, those are gone. So
okay, so I got
that was a weird one too, because they had a host. They had like 2 hostess stands, which was kind of odd. They had the one out front before the tunnel, then they had the one at the
gatekeeper.
They had the gatekeeper, and then they had the one at the desk.
Right.
So it was kind of like, because I checked into it, because I did I do the mobile check-in.
Right.
And,
did you check in via the app? You cannot come in.
And then I went. Actually, I never sat there before, but if you walk out, there's like a tree like right out back behind there where they got like a bunch of chairs around it. And just kind of sat there and watched the sunset over the dock there by the Contemporary, which was very nice. And it was very pleasant that day in the evening. And then they said my table was ready, so I went inside and checked in with the first stand. And they're like, "Oh, excellent! Yes, thank you. Now go down here and check
the other
in."
stand.
Like, okay. So walk down the hallway, check in there, and it was nice. The only thing I will say, because that was my one sort of upscale-ish steakhouse experience. I also ate dinner at Brown Derby the last night. And we'll say the one thing I would notice at Steakhouse 71, they did not have any bread service included. That was an appetizer you could purchase.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
So I'm kind of going, if you're going upscale steakhouse, that's very nickel and dimey.
Yeah, that's a little. Yeah.
So that was a little
That's
odd.
so.
Yeah, but Hollywood Brown Derby still had I guess their famous pretzel rolls, which I thought
was of the $45 salad. Welcome,
yes, I was very, very confused though, because like they're not pretzel bread, so I'm not sure why they're called that.
I do
Jason,
really like that bread.
I got to know. So you're just for the ICOT 25 coming up next year in October. Yes. It was the Ultra Lounge spaces still there?
They are still there, but they're not as ultra, I guess I'll say. they were just very subdued now.
But as a gathering spot or whatever,
it's still there. I want to say something was different. I couldn't quite put my finger on it if they removed a wall or added a wall. But again, I was kind of like whisked. I was kind of like whisked away immediately. So there was still at least one of them there on the right. Okay. There was definitely the one across from the main desk because they actually in that one they have a lot of cool historical pictures I looked at on the way out. So I think there were still some further down as you go back, kind of that right hallway.
Across from is the bar still there?
The bar was still there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, let's hope so, because that's a really good gathering spot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they did any real heavy construction. Like maybe there was like part of the larger sort of wave decor there that they removed, but just something looked a little different.
It's so weird. I never even went in there before, so I have no idea where you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, like we had when we did.
Is it like on the ground floor of the Contemporary?
It's where the Food and Fun Center was very originally.
It used to be,
maybe not very originally.
Okay,
but
I know
at least as a 90s kid going there, that's kind of what I.
As an 80s kid, it was the arcade where I first played Tron a lot. So, and they had a movie theater, like a little movie theater down there too, where you would go in and watch movies and things like that and get the food, like Jason said. So,
let me tell this real quick because it's steakhouse related. So, when my friend was here, he'd never been in the Disneyland hotel before. So I was like, let's go walk through the lobby because it's like a little nod to the past. It's plain, but it's still pretty. So we walked through, and I walked him back where Goofy's Kitchen and Steakhouse 55 was. And around Steakhouse 55, they still had the sign, but they'd taken all of the chairs from the restaurant and just built a wall so you couldn't walk through it. It was so disrespectful.
Oh God, that's not right.
Is Goofy's restaurant still open?
Yeah, it is. It was so disrespectful. I could have just shed a little tear, gay tear.
Have they announced what they're doing with Steakhouse 55?
No, probably turned it into Earl Sandwich because they just announced they were closing it.
Oh God.
Today they announced that they're closing the Earl Sandwich, that little Starbucks, and whatever weird candy shop or maybe candle shop. I don't know. Some other shop that's over there. It's something with a C. I don't remember. And they're closing all that before reimagining, and people on the interwebs are freaking out because.
Didn't I see like the movie theater was going on?
Yeah, the theater's been gone.
It's because they're going to finally demo that building.
Yeah, that whole area is going to.
The concept art was a big park with then like a few shops.
There's going to be green spaces. We've become really big on green spaces. I've noticed. In
Seattle, we don't do it anymore because there's homeless people just build a park. I don't know.
Oh, jeez. By the way, Carolyn, you're muted, by the way, Carolyn. I just wanted to let you know. Oh, there you go.
I keep coughing. Sorry.
Because I saw you talking and like it. Anyway, hey, let's because we're running out of time with Jason's going to be leaving soon, I think. Right? You still got to leave? Yes. Okay, good. D23 announcements. I don't think any of these were earth-shattering by any stretch of the imagination, but the fact is,
I was kind of disappointed.
Well, right, but
it wasn't the expo though,
right?
Yeah, and
they made such a big deal about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Now that why they did that, I don't know. But
Well,
the
the reality-
destination years, they don't usually announce a lot.
Yeah, the reality is over the last few months, a lot of these things have come out. But then again, we haven't done a podcast in the last 60 days. So there is some stuff. So just real quickly, Park by Park, Festival of Fantasy Parade, going to be coming back to the Magic Kingdom. Mickey's Magical Friendship Fair, Newcastle Forkfront Show, debuting in 2022 for the 50th anniversary. Let's see.
Good thing they're going to celebrate that for 3 years because they can push those dates back.
Well,
Right.
they did announce the next celebration also as part of that.
Go ahead, Jason.
It's in 2023. They will start 100 Years of Wonder. It's the 100th anniversry of the Walt Disney Company.
Exactly.
So they can like use the same crap for all the parks.
We'll just go right into it.
Anything new? That's perfect.
I thought you were going to be more optimistic.
Listen, I'm down on fireworks and I'm down on projections.
He didn't say optimistic. He said positive.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm positive that they're going to use
exactly
that they did before. New Disney Adventure Friends Cavalcade will be making its debut at the Magic Kingdom next year.
I don't mind the cavalcades. A lot of people are really down on them, but I think that for a lot of people with young kids, it's the perfect amount of time for them to see a parade, and it's not crazy.
Okay. Over at Epcot, apparently the expansion of Epcot will be complete in 2023, according to an engineer.
Just in time for the 100.
Woo! Today at D23, that happened. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind going to open summer of 2022. Yep.
Oh, they finally summer, not a date, just summer.
Summer. They did not give a specific date. Concept art and a name for the new quick service restaurant coming to World Celebration were revealed. It's the Connections Cafe and Eatery.
Where's that?
Electric Umbrella.
The Electric Umbrella, which continues the same motif, I guess, as the new shop that you all went in.
The very
lots of beige.
Sterile shop.
Beige, as Carolyn said, beige.
That'll be the first
and
Everything's
more
beige.
Everything's
That'll
beige.
be the first thing to change.
Beige.
Yeah. I did like the mural they have in there. There's a big mural in the shop.
It'll be budget cutted.
Okay.
We're going beige.
We're going beige here. And a cool thing I actually thought at Epcot in the World Celebration area, there's going to be a place called Dreamers Point where they have a new statue of Walt Disney, which actually looked.
Oh, I actually thought that was totally cool.
Really
They
cool.
announced that a long time ago.
They keep re-announcing it.
This is what I was saying, that essentially at D23 they kind of pulled stuff from the last 2 or 3 months.
You know what? It worked for me because I hadn't heard it, and I was like, "That's so cool."
Yeah, it's because at Epcot, when the pandemic started, they kind of made this ominous announcement that certain projects would be halted or shelved, but they never addressed certain projects. So I think this is finally them working their way around their whole list from their expo announcement of what are they
halfway finished.
Forward.
Let's put that out there again.
Yeah.
So I actually thought it looks like a really good photo op.
For
one of those things, because he's sitting on what looks like a place where you'd be able to sit, and you might be able to sit next to him, and kind of a cool
goes behind Spaceship Earth.
Yep.
Like looking at where the old pin trading stand.
That will be Dreamers Point.
If they make it as cool as the rendering, I think it's going to be a really good little picture spot. Actually, it's going to be pretty.
Agreed. Popping over to Animal Kingdom, we've been wondering about the whole Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo, the Big Blue and Beyond. The replacement for Finding Nemo, the musical, is coming to the theater in the wild in 2022.
Yep.
So
they said it's still going to be Nemo, right? Didn't they announce?
It's another Nemo.
Finding
Nemo, Big Blue and Beyond.
They're moving it up to the Finding Dory timeline.
They will. I think that's okay because they're going to improve the puppets, which will make it amazing because technology has changed since that show came out.
Absolutely.
And they'll be able to use better projections because let's be honest, like the screens sucked. It'll be good.
I think if they do take the time and effort and money to upgrade the show like that, that'll be fantastic. Studios Fantasmic, Fantastic, just announced a return in 2022. Of course,
also
they don't mention when, but when it returns, it'll have a new segment including Frozen, Aladdin, and Moana.
And it'll still just be a third of the talent that they have at Disneyland. Sorry.
That is true.
Oh,
But they'll have
sorry.
seats.
They will have-
We
You've had seats there, Justin.
Real size
Well,
boats
true.
make it better.
Oh no, I agree. I just say the only good saving is it has seats.
This is true. Since we haven't podcasted in a while, the first voyages on Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser are going to begin March 1st, 2022. Bookings had begun on October 28th.
I'm so torn because I think it looks really cool, but I don't think I could ever spend $15,000 to go not have daily maid service. I just don't know. Like can't do it.
It does look cool.
They aren't doing daily maid service anyway.
I know, that's what I mean.
I don't know. I asked for.
I'm telling
daily
you,
maid
in
service,
space, there's no COVID, and so I expect maid service.
COVID in space.
That may be the title of this episode. In space,
There's no COVID. Yeah.
So yeah,
In space, no one can hear you cough.
we're. I mean, I still think it'd be interesting. The one thing though, so I saw Josh today. It was today or yesterday in the D23 doing his thing, and they had him with the lightsaber. First of all, that lightsaber that they showed, it's totally real, and they're going to be selling it obviously as maybe just as an exclusive on the ship there.
Good luck flying home.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to mail that bad boy home. But they had him, doing some of the controls on the ship, and I got to say, and this may just be me, but it looks a little disappointing. And I'm worried that within 2 to 4 years, it's going to look really outdated.
It's not a real spaceship, John. I don't know if this is.
I know, but I want it to look, it's like, I expect it to be like touchscreen kind of stuff, and it's still like the physical kind of crappy button.
They should have just brought in that sound mixer from the first Star Wars and been like, "Here, kids, knock yourself out."
I'm a little worried about the experience as far as that goes, but we'll see. I'm worried but hopeful at the same time. So that's just from seeing it.
Do we know anyone who's
I'm
going
never
on it so we can get a report?
Do what?
Do we know anybody who's going on it so we can get a report?
It's sold out for like the first few months.
Although they're advertising it that you can make reservations. So my thought is
you can make reservations, sure, but you're not going for a while,
right? What did you say, Michael?
Is there no press event for this thing?
I don't know. We've theorized about that, and I don't know whether
if there's no press event for it, then it sucks.
We may not be involved.
Or they want to keep it, under wraps, so to speak.
Yeah, sometimes they do that.
Keep it a galactic surprise.
Because they're part of it's so exclusive. I don't think they really want the press, sort of sharing all the details.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have a hard time selling this.
No, they're not. It's already sold out for $15,000 a night.
Plus, after the first few excursions, stuff is going to leak out.
Right.
Anyway, I mean,
because there's no like iPhones in space.
I mean, exactly.
You must sign an NDA to go on this.
Look, I would be happy to go and do that, but I think it does make me wonder whether they don't want too much of the word to get out. Initially.
You know what? I'm gonna hope for the best for this one because I think it'll be a really fun, super expensive and elitist celebration for people, and I think it'll be okay.
Michael, my thoughts on it are like the gaming part of it, okay, but the interactivity and the immersion in the story is where things are going to be just cool, and the actors.
They should also have to wear
for some people, but I kind of am like.
I don't want to going on this. People are going to want.
You have to be the right type of person.
Well,
I would go and I'd be like, please don't talk to me. Like, I don't want to pretend you're like a bad guy.
Can I have my chicken fingers and fries, please?
But Mike, my husband would.
They want those Star Wars nerds are going to show up with their Jedi robes and.
Yeah, I would be like, I just want to look around and go sit in my room for a bit. Please don't talk to me.
Sorry, you've been denied space.
Then
entry.
you're not going to do that for the price
Yeah.
you're paying. The thing I was thinking is that, for everything that we used to love about like the Adventurers Club and stuff, how you'd be sucked into the story and things like that, take that like sort of to the next level and put it in space. And I think that is kind of what makes it exciting for me, because I used to love the Adventurers Club, and when we'd go and
I just really hope
hang
it's
there.
good. I just really, really hope it works, because if it does, it's going to be amazing.
I would agree. The other stuff, just want to mention the what is it? The International Festival of the Arts is coming back February 21st of 2022. No,
All
goes
the way
through
through
then.
2024.
Goes
They're just
January
never gonna stop it
14th
anymore.
through February 21st. Okay. And they're doing the Disney on Broadway concert series is returning for this year as
That's
well.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yep.
because that
And
was
that should be
off
fun.
last year.
And one final thing I wanted to get in was we got invited, and I'll be going to the upcoming Festival of the Holidays, which is happening, the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays, which is presented by Advent Health. December 1st, we will be there. INTERCOT will be there. We'll be enjoying seasonal flavors at the festival's holiday kitchen. We'll be listening to joyful music and costume storytellers, marveling at twinkle light displays. Can you tell I'm reading copy here? And we'll be shopping for that perfect holiday gift. Also includes a performance of Candlelight Processional, which will be cool. And I will get to see Harmonious in person for the first time, which will be fun, because Carolyn and I viewed it on the
I'll tell you
little
something,
screen.
John. I was
Yes.
we were walking around World Showcase when Harmonious was on, but I
Yep.
wasn't really paying attention
Yep.
because there was crowds and we were
Sure.
weaving our way through them.
You were trying to mobile order.
And still wasn't impressed.
Still?
I
No?
was glancing and
Okay.
we were trying to, it was
Got
exactly
rained
what
out
you
for
said.
me.
We were trying to sing
Okay.
along with the music, but it was in like a different language. So we were just singing the English version of
Right.
whatever song. And yeah.
Did you
We
say it was
talked
rained
about
out,
that.
Jason?
Yeah, he thought
It was pouring, so I left, but I had several cast members tell me they may do like a rain version of it. But
Oh, so
I
I was
mean,
going to say, how did
it
they not have
was-
a version for rain? I mean, it does rain
yeah,
in
it
Florida.
was pouring.
They just play the music and turn on a light. They're like, yay!
So-
Couple guys out there with flashlights.
Right.
Yeah, because they said they
And
wouldn't do
one
the
flare
pyro.
goes
but
off.
they said they wouldn't do the pyro, but they might still do the show. I don't know if it hadn't like rained that hard yet during a show, but yeah, it was. It was.
How
miserable.
come you can't light fireworks in the rain? Does the
Because
rain
it's
just put them
fire
out?
and it's water. Hello, Canadians.
No, I'm saying
Fireworks
is
work.
it's not a danger thing. Is it because when you shoot a firework up,
No,
the rain
but-
would just make it
No,
go
they
It's the
out?
won't go.
igniter.
They won't
Yeah,
do anything.
Like it wets the fuse.
We can just say they are letting
thought
them
they-
off, and it will be no
No,
different.
no. Actually, a guy I work with, his dad owns the company that makes
Okay.
the air cannons that shoot
Right.
the fireworks. It's not like it's like an
They're
air
not
cannon.
exposed to the
So I
weather,
feel
is
like
what
it would
you're
be
saying?
like, yeah, it would be like lit down in the tube, then poof.
Okay, we're gonna need you to talk to that person and report back on the next podcast.
Okay.
To be fair, I don't know what they did, but I had at least 2 cast members tell me that it would probably not be the full.
Well,
probably
I don't
not
think
be the full
they
show.
probably would not spend that much money, right? That show is not cheap.
Right.
To let off that many fireworks in water where they're just going to be like, I don't know.
Fizzle.
That's weird. Yeah, no, but it is. I am actually intrigued now to know if these cannons would work.
Well, because with that show, they have the screens and the fountains, so they could.
Oh, well,
probably
see, that
still
would be
grab it.
impossible because
Well, then the whole sky would be a
Right.
screen at that point.
it's
So, that'd be good.
then
I
it would, right. It would just be like World of Color.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to seeing it and seeing what my thoughts are.
I'm going to
Wonderful.
say something just before we run out because I know we're about to
Yeah,
snap.
we're about to wrap here.
This is the last thing I'm going to say about Disneyland, other than it's awesome.
Okay.
So I went to the Oogie Woogie Bash for the first time.
Oh,
It is-
nice.
I'm just going to say this, and I've been to a lot.
Okay.
It is the best Disney nighttime experience I've ever been to.
Really?
And I've been to all those at Disney World, so nobody can say that I only like
Wow.
Disneyland. It was absolutely amazing. The characters, the treat trails, like everything about it was so well put together. It was just what they should. I don't know. It just was great because it was the first parade back, so everyone kind of got emotional.
Sure.
But it was just great. Like I could not believe how well put together the little character meets were, because since COVID, like the only upside I like is you don't get to go walk up and like spend 15 minutes getting the perfect picture. It's just kind of like this experience, and everyone is walking by, and all of the characters actually just talk and interact with the people as they walk by.
Mhm.
And
Which park was it in?
California Adventure.
Yeah, it's California Adventure.
So like Cruella DeVille was just being hysterical and like slaying everybody's outfits. It was amazing.
Yeah, wow.
It was great. It was just anyone who wants to plan an October event, you should definitely try to go to Disneyland, do the Oogie Boogie Bash. The only thing is those tickets sell out the first day. It's crazy, but that's all.
No, that's cool. So, yeah, the only other thing I just wanted to touch on briefly is that I tried out the competition while I was on vacation, and I went on Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines instead of Disney.
Your stateroom looked amazing.
Yeah, and so for those that actually can see the stream right now, I'm showing you the video. Yeah, I was very surprised. This was a grand suite on the Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines Independence of the Seas, and I'm telling you, I may never be able to go back, Michael. Once you've crossed over, you might never be able to return to normal suites. It was about
when you walked in on this stream, when you went around the corner, and with the panorama you're using, it looked like the bed was round, and I was like, "Oh, someone upgraded!" Like,
no, it at the edge, it's not square.
At the bottom,
the
bottom is rounded.
It's round, a little rounded.
Oh God!
But all Royal Caribbean beds are like that.
I know it's
So
really
funny.
cool. So I'm just gonna say, for the money,
it's beautiful,
absolutely gorgeous, and
even
Michael,
the patio looks really big.
It's a double size patio. You can see my wife's feet there. It was fantastic. Plus, the concierge service.
Which room category was it?
This is a royal suite, is what it was called. So, so we got use of the concierge lounge on the ship. We got access to the concierge who made all of our dining reservations and things like that. I cannot say enough about it. It just was fantastic. It really great cruise. And it makes me want to go back and do it again in something like that. And I would love to be able to do something like that on Disney, but I'd worry about what the cost would be.
For sure. You might as well go on the Star Cruiser, because that room would probably cost just as much.
Yeah, this was, I mean, to kind of share, was about $1,100 a person for a 5-day.
Oh, that is
cruise.
so cheap.
Gotta go. Bye, guys.
Yeah, which was
Bye,
really
Jason.
Jason, thank you. Good to see you.
Bye.
Yep. So the only other thing, and I will throw this up on the screen, is got an amazing picture in Nassau of the Disney cruise ships. And let me just tell you, I will say one thing about Disney ships. They're so iconic looking. I mean, they just look the part of all the cruise ships. Yeah. Of all the cruise ships out there, I have to say they look so stately when you see them in port compared to everybody else. I don't care what line it is there. I mean, there were 5 cruise ships that were docked in port, and by far theirs looked the best. Like, so, I mean, from a design perspective, they just hit it out of the park. They know what they're doing. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to mention that we had a great time on the competition. I will say, as far as that goes, that the shows are always better on Disney.
Are they?
The entertainment. Oh yeah. It's much more Broadway like on Disney.
Well,
the talent.
They have the talent, right?
Yes.
The production value that they can't spend that money on Royal Caribbean because, like, it's just not this. The people that go on that don't expect that, right?
Right. I think it's just when you go on there. I mean, there's, and quite frankly, the regular staterooms on the Disney Cruise Line are just nicer too. They're just, they seem to be better thought out than some of the other cruise lines, like, that they have your shower separate from your sink and stuff like that, so that like two people can actually be doing things. It just, like, somebody thought about, okay, how do people use cruise line
Right.
cabins a little bit more. So but that being said, with the suite, I didn't have to worry about any of that. So,
Right.
But it was fun.
One day I'll get to take this Disney cruise that was canceled last year.
Oh, really? Oh, you were supposed to go on one?
Yeah, I was supposed to go on for my birthday. Quentin and I had it booked and done, and it was.
Yep.
But whatever. I was not one of those people that said, "Sure, I'll take that $150 credit." I was like, "Give me my money back. I'm done."
Yeah, understandable. I think for the most part, that's it. I mean, like I said, just be sure and join us on December 1st. We'll have some live coverage of the Festival of the Holidays at Epcot, which should be fun. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting in the mood of the season. As Ian said on the last podcast, pretty much there's no better way to get in the mood for the holidays than watching the candlelight processional. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that and kind of getting in the holiday mood. That'll kick off.
You need to eat at Steakhouse 71 and give us an expert opinion.
Only there for one day, although they are putting us up, which is nice because I think the day doesn't end until really late. It starts at about 3:00 in the afternoon and goes through the evening. I will have my expert cameraman, my son, Michael, with me, which is the other son. So it'll be nice there. They allowed us a +1, which is unusual. So looking forward to that. But it'll be a one-day kind of thing, and then we'll come back to the next day. So we'll see how it goes.
I can't wait to see.
Yep, absolutely. Guys, anything else on your ends or anything you can think of?
Nope.
Justin, Karen?
No,
Nope.
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Slightly Disney related, I watched Eternals today, and it was amazing.
Eternals?
Yes, it was so good.
Haven't seen it yet.
So good.
Yes, it is good.
I know nothing about it. This is
Have you
Disney
seen
Plus, I'm guessing?
Shang-Chi?
What's that?
Yes,
Have
also
you
loved
seen
it.
Shang-Chi?
Loved it. Loved it.
I
Oh,
didn't see that either.
you got to get caught up. There's so much new going on in the world. And Spider-Man's coming out next month, and everything's connected, so you got to watch.
Eternals is just the big kickoff to the new world of Marvel, and they did an amazing job.
Oh, no. I'm getting too far behind. I hate when
Yeah,
that
you better
happens.
get caught. Well, I know you keep getting Disney Plus and then it's going away and then you get it back and whatever, but you can watch Shang-Chi on Disney Plus right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, see, I'm in that time of year where I would have Disney Plus, except for my team is like losing and I'm thinking about not getting it. Like they've lost
There's
3
like a
games
deal
in a
right
row.
now. There's a deal right now because of Disney Plus Day at the parks last weekend that
Really?
you can get it for like $1.99 for the
Yeah, it's
first
really
few months.
cheap.
Huh. Okay.
Well, we got it when it first came out. We got 3 years for the price of 2, and we're already 2 years in. So
Yeah,
I'm sure
It's
it's gonna be a
crazy
nice big
already,
price.
right?
Gonna be a nice big price when that comes up next year, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I
really.
upgraded mine, Justin, so it includes ESPN, which I've never even turned on.
Yeah, well, that's why I get it primarily is because of the ESPN
Hulu.
Plus. But
Is
Oh,
it
let
ESPN and Hulu? Okay.
yeah, it's a bundle. It's a bundle. Let me get to this. Be sure and support our sponsor, Magical Journeys, who brings the podcast and the website to you. Check out intercot.com. Head over to the discussion boards if you get a chance and follow us on all the social media channels. Be sure and subscribe to us on YouTube as well. We do have a YouTube channel, believe it or not. It'd be nice to see you over there as well. For Carolyn, Michael, Justin, I am still John. And this is the Intercot Insider Podcast for, November 21st, 2021.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Yeah,
Happy
Turkey Day,
Thanksgiving.
everybody. Hope to see you before Christmas. We'll try and get one last.
Oh my God, we have to
podcast
have
in.
a Jingle Bell episode.
I know, we do. Bye now, everybody.
Bye!
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
See, and the end was
You
the
hit the
perfect
post.
length this
Good job.
time. I know, right? Bye now.